and welcome to another Huddle Breakdown Extra Time. I'm your host, Martin Murphy, joined as ever by James and by Alan. Also later, incidentally, remember, we've got a special guest on. He's been on before, Patrick Caskie, who's a Rangers fan, data analyst, really interesting guy. And he'll be giving us the view from the other side of the hill for the upcoming Cup final. But as I say, a packed programme tonight. As well as that, we'll be reviewing the European match against Dinamo Zagreb. So how are you guys? You doing okay?
Well, thanks. Ready to dig in. We got to speed these things up. We got to get ready for the most important game of the week, which is Rangers and Tottenham, I think. I don't know. I say that tongue in cheek. I say that tongue in cheek.
I was going to say, I think you'll be getting a few more messages there, James. You're asking for it. But if we get straight in, really into the game in Zagreb, because really interested in your guys' take on it. The Mark Viduka derby, isn't it? Or Marco Viduka, depending at what point he is in his life. Alan, if I come to you first, I suppose, just generally, did you feel it was a good point away from home, given that it's a long time since we've managed to get a couple of back-to-back results and coming away without a defeat, especially after the game in Germany? Or was it a bit of an opportunity lost, given the way the game was panning out? What did you think?
I think it can be both of those things. And it probably was, actually, to be fair, both of those things. I did feel after the game a slight sort of tinge of disappointment in terms of, this was a team to me that looked nowhere near the level of Bruges, for example. Although having said that, on the counter attack, they gave me the fear every time we a few times that they kind of did manage to counter. And it was a difficult pitch, and it was slippy, and it was bumpy and bobbly, and all that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Someone at Celtic, they must have been running some kind of Monte Carlo simulation in the background, or somebody told Rodgers that just get a point, it'll be fine, no problem at all. Because I've not seen Celtic play like that. I can't remember the last time Celtic played like that. Really, quite very very studied, very deliberate, very cautious. Really, was the way that we played. Didn't take many risks at all. I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult. That was probably emphasised by such bad decision making and bad execution in the final third didn't help. And if that had been better, maybe it would have looked like a more attacking performance. But overall, as I understand it, trying to piece together the likely scenarios of what happens now with 2 games left, I think the bookies, and to be honest, I don't bet. Gamble.
You're the same, James, aren't you? You totally. I get
all that. That's exactly what degenerate gamblers say, Alan. Oh, I don't bet. Oh,
I don't even understand. I don't even understand
the
the European and American conventions of when they give odds. I don't even know what that means. I do understand like 2-1, and anyway, because if you look at Odds Checker, for Celtic to qualify for the next round, it's between 1-16 and 1-20, which I think means you have to put on £16 to get a pound back, is what it means, right?
That means suggests bet to me the freaking house, Alan. That's what that means.
No. So that suggests to me the bookmakers think Celtic are pretty strong favourites to go through. I think 9 points, even on 9 points, if we lost both games, we still have a 42% chance of going through based on, I think, Opta's model. If we get 1 point, that goes up to like 92% or something. So listen, it's all there. You would want nothing more than playing the bottom team in the group. Young boys obviously out of it. I think there's already another 4 teams out of it, and then another 4 teams are. You would have to win both games, and we'd have to lose both games, and then it would come down to goal difference. So it's all looking pretty favourable. What I didn't understand was Zagreb's approach to the game, because essentially, had they won that game, they would be through. And by not winning the game, they've put themselves in a lot of jeopardy in terms of, they've got Arsenal and Milan to come in the last 2 matches. And, in all likelihood, it's going to be difficult for them to get anything out of those games. So whether the manager felt, because of the bad run that they'd had, he felt under pressure and was just determined not to lose the game. But it did seem to me as if both sides were happy to take the point and move on, which is very unusual for Celtic, I would say. But I think net, it's going to work out well. And maybe later, I did so just to tee up a future topic. Is I did do a bit of digging into Celtic's underlying numbers in the Champions League to see, are we doing well? Do we deserve to be a team that qualifies or not? Was really the question in my mind. Because I think last season, for example, there was no doubt really that Celtic deserved to be fourth place in the group team. Our numbers weren't good, our defensive numbers especially. So we can have a chat about that later. But overall, I think we should be satisfied with it. I really do. I don't think it was. I think it was. There was a tinge of regret, but I think it's overwhelmingly one of that. We look like a decent, mature team at that level.
Yeah, I think what struck me about it as well, just before I come to you, James, was how weird an atmosphere there was as well. Where half it, certainly the stand across from the the cameras empty because of earthquake damage, and there didn't seem a great atmosphere. You could hardly hear very much, and as you mentioned earlier, Alan, with the pitch. But I suppose, James, was it that Zagreb did a number on us? They kind of seem to go pretty much a bit of a match-up, 1-1. They did a good job on McGregor, seemed to do a good job on both of our wingers, quite athletic players playing, despite the fact that, they had maybe about 3 players who may normally play out injured. Was it down to that more, or was it just that Celtic's passing was poor and we were just too passive?
I as usual, I think it was many of the above, kind of a complex mixture of those factors. Before I get in, I just wanted to, because it came top of mind when Alan was mentioning the kind of the scenarios in the Champions League. Tony McLaughlin of Celtic Trends fame has been posting some stuff on Twitter, but also in our chat room on the platform about some of that. And that, if you look at the teams behind us, I think part of the reason why our odds are so strong is they have like 2 hard games left, like Zagreb, like going away to Arsenal and playing Man City.
We hope you enjoyed this free preview from all of us here at the Huddle Breakdown. We know you have options and we really appreciate you tuning in. To hear the rest of this episode and for much more Huddle Breakdown content, head on over to www.huddlebreakdown.com. We hope you consider subscribing. Thank you.